Hey everybody, this is Perch, and I do a lot of videos. I answer a lot of questions. So now I've got a question for you, and this is a question for the comment section. Go all in. Let me know the answer to the question I'm about to ask, because there's not. It's a blank slate. Almost any answer is good. Not some of you, but almost any answer is good. So the question is this: How do you want? How do you want? This is literally fan service. What I'm about to do right now. How do you want me to convey information when it's something you don't like and the information kind of doesn't correlate with what you don't like? So, for example, Kathleen Kennedy. A number of you wrote in saying, "Hey, is she getting fired? I hear she getting fired. Is she getting fired?" And the answer was, we don't know, but probably not. I'm sure at some point, Disney will move on from Kathleen Kennedy, or more likely, Kathleen Kennedy will move on from Disney. But the odds of her getting fired kind of anytime soon are pretty remote. And there's a handful of reasons behind that. She's one of the top, I think, the number 3 highest grossing producer. She's, I think, the only woman in the top 5. Disney has 3 of the top 5 producers who work for them. And that's a draw. Now you can certainly say things like, "Well, yeah, but she was on top of a bunch of movies, would have made money anyway." That may be true. It's definitely true with some people. For example, if you put her or Steven Spielberg over Star Wars, it's probably going to work out okay in terms of financials. The output of that movie. I mean, keep in mind they're the producers, so there may or may not have been a major change, but there could have been. Spielberg could have done a different job. He might have hired different people than would have written a different script. That's definitely true. But regardless, if you put Spielberg into that role, yeah, I think you're going to make money, and it's going to work out. If you were to put, I don't know, Kevin Smith in that role, maybe, may not have worked out as well. Quite likely it wouldn't have actually. So, but my point here is that, yes, there are a number of people who could have had the same financial success she did, but not just anyone. Producing is a job. But regardless, you asked me, hey, are they going to fire her? My answer was kind of like, no, it's unlikely. And the information, if you really kind of dig into, what people are saying and kind of the facts of the matter, yeah, there's a lot of bullshit in there. A lot of very, very, very flimsy reasoning and logic in that one. So I have my doubts. I have my doubts that she's going anywhere. And certainly based on the rumor of a guy who knows Buddy who talked on a podcast somewhere, I'm not buying it. But this does not mean I'm a massive fan of Kathleen Kennedy's work. My complaints are probably different from a lot of what you hear on YouTube. My complaints are that the work feels kind of, I don't know, for lack of a better word, uninspired. They feel like fairly generic paint by numbers movies half the time, and I don't think that it's I don't think she's single handedly out there to wreck culture, but I also don't think that the movies are terribly memorable. Now, big budget movies, they don't need to be terribly memorable. They just need to hit the right notes to cash in on the moment at the time. But I all the same, I would rather. I've watched many movies, of course, in my life. The ones produced by Kathleen Kennedy are not my favorites. So I don't have a dog in this hunt, so to speak, about whether she should get fired or not. And I know a lot of you do. You're frustrated because of all the things that have been done to Star Wars, and we're saying Kathleen Kennedy was responsible for those things. Again, I think it's a shared effort. Like The Last Jedi, I think you can put some of the blame there. I didn't like that movie, but I also don't think that was like Kathleen Kennedy's solo effort. I think there are a lot of people. She wore that Forces Female shirt. I don't know why you wear stuff that's like, hey, look at me. Hey, everybody, get pissed off. Look at me. I don't know why. Why would you do that? It's just asking for nonsense that I wouldn't want to deal with. But whatever. But I don't have that kind of personality. But the question to you is, if you're, because then the arguments come in, and the arguments come in around, yeah, but she sucks. Yeah, but she's a failure. Yeah, but Perch, you've got it completely wrong. She is going to get fired because she sucks. I'm like, okay, but that wasn't the question. So what is it you need? What is it that people do? It's the same thing with Marvel. I've mentioned a couple times recently that Marvel is profitable. It is cash flow positive in their comic book business. And again, these aren't really debatable facts. I mean, they're in the annual report. You can dig it up. You can go in and you can do some work. It's all tied in some other stuff, but you can actually get there. You can also take out your calculator. You can use a pretty basic math equation to figure out their profit, and you can use that against the rates you've heard. I mean, you could back into the math in a number of different ways. It's always possible that Marvel is secretly funding kind of strange drug running operations in Venezuela in the background, so the money is even better or worse than we think. I don't know. Lots of stuff could certainly be happening there. But overall, yeah, Marvel is profitable. Marvel's profitable. But man, that pisses people off. And what I always struggle with, it's not the man that makes me mad, I wish it wasn't true. Or man, with the kind of content they put out, it's hard to believe. Or yeah, but they should be making a lot more. Yeah, sure. Those are all reasonable responses. I'm down with all those responses. They all have some level of logic. They speak to your opinion. Cool. But what I struggle with are the no, you're wrong. They're definitely losing money. That umbrella guy said so. It's like, oh, okay. I mean, sure. What do you want me to do with that? You have different facts. Cool. More power to you. Maybe at one point, the facts. Some days there's a congressional hearing and they bring the money out and we discover I was wrong all this time. Then I'll have to come on here and look like a complete jackass going, well, I was wrong, folks. I guess I fucked up and didn't do the math correctly, and they are losing it. But all I'm going with are what I can read. I cannot wander into various conspiracy theories around, well, they're actually unprofitable, but Disney cooks the books and they deliberately, okay, yeah, they could be committing a crime. You're right. As a public company, they could absolutely be committing a crime. Yeah, as a, Kathleen Kennedy could get fired tomorrow and they replaced by, just some random YouTuber who will do an infinitely better job and restore billions to the company. Could be. But again, these aren't the questions being asked. The shitty or good, depending on your point of view, I personally think good. The nice part about business, when you get into actual business facts and numbers and that kind of thing, they are fairly emotionless. It's the Jay-Z line: men lie, women lie, numbers don't. At the end of the day, you can hate it. You can hate the player. You can't hate the game. We're just going to mix all the analogies here. It is, to put it this way, it is what it is. But even me saying that, man, again, it pisses people off. It really pisses people off when I say things like that. And I come to the conclusion, and I'm sorry to say, I've come to the conclusion that for a lot of you, you just want to hear, you want people to tell you what you believe already. That's what you show up here for, to show up to YouTube for. I think people want to get on and they want to listen to people say things like, everybody hates Kathleen Kennedy inside Disney. She is going to lose her job tomorrow because everybody hates her and she's fucked up and everything is awful and she's gone. She's getting screamed at and they're going to actually tar and feather her out the door. She's going to have to walk out with feathers and tar. It's going to be thoroughly, thoroughly miserable. Bad news for Kathleen Kennedy. That's what she's in for. That's what she's going to get tomorrow. And then tomorrow comes and it's like, hey, I forget what I said. Nobody acknowledges it. You'll notice that all of these people who go in on these rumors do not ever circle back, as they say at the White House. They never come back and go, yeah. So here's what happened. It didn't happen. Didn't happen yesterday, but it's happening next week. No, they pretend that everybody has, the Men in Black mind wipe. And it's like, well, fuck it. We're just going to say the same thing. And, you're going to believe it. For what it's worth, this is more like tough love, dad kind of stuff. This is why some of these channels, some of these people, and some of these rumors get such a bad name. People make fun of it online because in a lot of cases, here, this is a double-edged sword attack. You ready? It's going to hit every side. In a lot of cases, the absolute losers who like to work at, who are editors at big comic companies and love to go on the internet rather than editing their comics, but they like to dunk on the chuds. The chuds give them an amazing opening by believing clear, absolute horseshit and talking as if that is what's going to happen. So my question to you is, how do you want this information? Or do you want it? Quite bluntly, do you even, is this, do you care? Are we all wasting our time here with these channels and this stuff? When you write in and you ask, hey, I heard a rumor that Kathleen Kennedy is going to get fired, do you want me to give you the truth? Or would you like me to go, oh yeah, man, she's totally getting fired. I also have an inside source inside the boardroom, and they came in like, you're a bitch, Kathleen Kennedy. You're a fucking bitch. You ruined Star Wars. You torched my childhood. Fuck off. You're done. That's what I heard. Yeah, you're right. Rumor confirmed. And then I could put in some sound effects. Boom. And then, is that what, if that's what you want, I mean, that's what I need to know in the comments. Just it'd be like, just lie to me, Perch. That's just tell me. Because otherwise, what I do is I go and I look up the story. I'm like, okay, where's the source coming from? Is this something that's legitimate? What's her deal at? How does this kind of stuff? Why is it that, okay, if so many people, this is a legitimate question I had in my head. It's like, okay, if so many people online hate Kathleen Kennedy, the narrative is constantly that the Star Wars franchise is torched, it's lost billions of dollars. Why in the world is Disney not a company who is obsessed with, let's say, human rights? They are, no matter what they put in the movies, that is not the happiest place on earth if you're an employee there. I take it firsthand. Just saying. But, okay, if that's where you're at, why do they keep her? Well, maybe because she's got dirty photos of Iger. That could be. Rumor has it there's a lot of dirty photos to go around. See, that's my unsourced rumor. No, that's people have been making those comments about Iger for like a decade. Anyway, is it because Disney's terrified of losing a high-powered, high-profile woman in charge? That could be. As I mentioned, she's, I think, the only woman in the top 5 producers, and Disney it likes having that check mark. Yeah, it likes having that status. I mean, by the way, me saying, hey, the reality is she has a track record of a bunch of money in this space, and Disney likes her money. That doesn't mean that there's not other shenanigans going on. It does not mean that there's some unfair shit going on. That she's kept in that position or given more leeway because she's a woman and Hollywood wants to promote strong women. I mean, yeah, probably. Not just probably. Yeah, almost for sure. Look, a lot of these companies they're not subtle with this. This isn't a big secret. They go all in on a lot of saying we want to encourage diversity. Sometimes at the expense of our bottom line. Yeah, sometimes. Again, this is not a speculative thing. People have said that. Is that right or wrong? It's up to the company. It's company's dollar. It is. As much as I like Star Wars, and I do like Star Wars, I've read several of the books. I always feel like that's the tipping point between, people who are fans and then people who are maybe too much of a fan. Is if you start to dive into the Star Wars books, that's taking that commitment to another level. Anyway, that's my opinion on it. I have all the comics, every Star Wars issue, the original run. I don't have all the issues of the new, whatever the fuck Marvel's doing now, but the original run when Walt Simonson was on. Yeah, I have those. Look, so the question goes back to you. What do you want? Do you want, are you looking to just have somebody validate your opinion? There are a lot of channels that do that. I can certainly take a crack at it every now and then. But if you're asked something and I'm like, well, here's the reason, what is it you need to hear? Do you need me to every 30 seconds say, but again, as a reminder, I was not a fan of The Last Jedi, and I think Kathleen Kennedy is not that great at her job, and I was not a fan of The Last Jedi. It was a bad movie. Bad. Okay, now here's some more facts about Kathleen Kennedy. But in 30 seconds, we're going to check back in with you and remind you that I, your speaker, do not like The Last Jedi. So you can put down that, but Perch, fuck off. You can just put down those weapons because, what is it you need? Please help a brother out. I've done a lot of videos. You make my life simpler. What disclaimer are you looking for? Or no disclaimer. You would just like me to lie to you with what you want to hear. Thanks for listening.